Que pasa YouTube? How's it going, everybody? Hopefully y'all are having a good Wednesday today. Have for y'all a pretty fun, close UU Wi-Fi battle I had off of my stream yesterday. I may be streaming again today around when this video actually goes live. So if you guys would like to battle me, then come join the stream and whatnot and say what's up. So yeah, this match was against Sharpedo43. Typically me and Sharpedo have some pretty decent and good games, and I don't get lucked like when I battle Harris. So yeah, this turned out to be a pretty good game. This team, I don't like this team. I hate this team. I don't remember what this team was based around, but it has Gracinium Z Starmie, which is kind of cool, I guess. So going into this battle, this team had one glaring weakness, and of course this is the one match where my opponent has that one Mon that just kind of rips into this team, and I'll kind of hold off on that when we get to that Mon. So also Weavile is going to be terrifying late game if it's like Bandit or just Life Orb in general. So I'm going to be leading off with my Mega Beedrill, considering that I should be able to outspeed everything on his team that is not Scarfed, as he ends up leading off with the Swampert. I'm expecting him to just want to go ahead and get up his rocks turn 1, so I'm going to go straight for the U-turn, doing a pretty good chunk of damage and U-turning into my Scizor, as he actually ends up going straight for the Earthquake. Good thing I did not go for the knockoff, because after thinking of going for the U-turn, I thought about just going straight for the knockoff, and if I'd done that, that would have been really bad for me, as I will be able to U-turn out of here again because I am Choice Banded. I will be able to put this Swampert really low, except for the fact that it's got the Ayapapa Berry, which I don't think I've ever seen on a Swampert before, and that was slightly annoying because this thing should be practically gone. It should not even be here, and now it just kind of sucks because it's at 75% HP instead of being at around 25%. And if I had done just 1% less damage, man, just 1% less, I would have avoided popping his berry there, and that actually would have been pretty good for me. Either way though, this is fine, as Starmie can just come in here and I can go straight for the Rapid Spin, as he brings in this giant ass threat of a Pokemon too. This seems like Magneton typically is not even a problem for teams, but this team literally just gets bent over by Magneton. If it's Specs, it's more manageable, but if it's Scarfed, then that's actually a humongous problem. So I'm gonna make an aggressive switch into my Infernape, which I know is a little bit odd, but in the off chance that he did just go for like a Thunderbolt, I could take that, and because I am Scarfed, I outsped him, and then I could probably force him out. And I have 3 moves that can straight OHKO him, so I could have probably gone for the U-turn, but he does end up making the better play and going for the Volt Switch, as he ends up bringing the Arcanine here. He's actually gonna pull the double switch here into a Sylveon. I might be thinking I would stay in and go for close combat, scouting out to see if I was like Choice Bandit or something, but I am not. I am actually a Scarfed Infernape, so this little portion is going to be sped up because it's kind of like a war between us two here, the Sylveon and the Rotom Wash. Like, realistically, we're not doing anything to each other. The main reason I stayed in here was because I didn't want to allow him to get a free wish into something, mainly the Swampert. I wanted to be able to keep Swampert as low as possible, as he crits me with the Hyper Voice. That actually kind of helps me out, honestly, because this means that my Pain Split next turn is going to be doing a bit more damage to him. If he hadn't got that crit, then obviously I wouldn't have been able to do roughly like 20-ish%. So I'm actually not even upset about that crit. Again, it did kind of help me out. So I am just going to stay in here, and I'm hoping to either force him out or eventually catch him on a switch out, and then I can maybe wisp whatever comes in, or potentially hit it up with a Hydro Pump, or maybe even a Volt Switch on it, as he goes for another Hyper Voice, still doing a solid amount of damage to me. That was not even a crit, and it still put me below 50% HP, although realistically it's not entirely too bad because I can still just potentially Pain Split here. And this is where I'm kind of like, alright, I'm going to Volt Switch here because he's probably just going to go for the Hyper Voice again, and then I can Volt Switch into my Scizor, and then that way I can force him out and go for U-turn and try to gain some momentum. But he actually switches into the Weavile, and I end up doing a decent little bit of damage to it, as I will be able to U-turn into my Infernape. I am Scarfed, and by me bringing in Infernape here, I thought that maybe he would know that I'm Scarfed, or he probably thought that I had the Mach Punch, which is still very understandable. Either way though, I will be able to go for the U-turn here, either knock out the Weavile or gain some type of momentum in my favor, and hopefully not allow that damn Magneton to just freely come in. As I U-turn into my Cobalion here, I'm hoping that I will be able to get up my rocks here, and that he may be fearing me going straight for the Iron Head, considering that Iron Head does do a pretty good chunk of damage to the Sylveon, as he actually stays in here, probably thinking I would try to go for my rocks, expecting his switch out since Cobalion is the only real stealth rocker on this team, and I am known for always wanting to get up my stealth rock. So Hyper Voice does do a decent little bit of damage, not entirely too much. This is not that bad considering that next turn I can easily go for the Iron Head. If I really wanted to as well, I could probably try to pull a double switch here, expecting him to potentially switch out, as he does end up making a direct switch into a Swampert. I believe I do just Iron Head here, not doing entirely too much damage to him. If he hadn't had that Apaya berry, then I would have been able to knock him out, I think with the Stone Edge and then the close combat damage. But I'm going to make an aggressive play here and go for the Swords Dance, essentially expecting him to want to go straight for his rocks because this is not Z move Cobalion. The Z move is on Starmie, so close combat of +2 will actually be able to knock out Swampert at this range, which is really nice. The only downside is though, is that he got up Stealth Rocks, and Stealth Rocks are really bad for my Infernape, considering that my Infernape is literally the only thing on my team that can deal with this Magneton. Like, there's nothing else on this team that can deal with this Magneton. So he's gonna go for the Thunderbolt here. Obviously, I'm trapped because of Magniple, and I'm -1 Spadef. There's no chance I will be able to live that Thunderbolt at all. So I am going to bring in my Infernape here in hopes that maybe he would think I will U-turn, knowing how big of a threat this Magneton is. I think, actually no, hold on. I think I do end up U-turning this turn, don't I? Yeah, because I can safely U-turn here and force him out and try to gain some momentum. Another play I could have also done was just gone straight for the close combat. Oh, I do go for the close combat. Okay, sorry. For some reason I thought I U-turned here, so I do end up doing a pretty solid amount of damage to the incoming Arcanine, and I'm pretty positive that this is his Banded Arcanine that he brought to one of our previous battles. So expecting him to want to go straight for the extreme speed, since I do have rocks up, he doesn't want to not entirely waste this Arcanine. I'm going to end up switching directly into my Scizor here, as I will be able to chew that Banded E-Speed, which is really nice because now I will be able to go for the U-turn this turn if he doesn't want to switch out, but he stays in. And thankfully, because Choice Banded Adamant Scizor is such a monster, I do actually end up knocking out the Arcanine at the amount of HP that he was at. Also, again, he most likely was definitely Choice Banded because E-Speed was doing a pretty good amount of damage to my Scizor. Now, I have to choose something on my team to just kind of die to the Magneton, because whatever I come in that's not called Infernape dies to Magneton, and if I bring in Infernape, I take a round of rocks damage, and then I bait in the Blastoise or bait in the Sylveon, both of which I cannot KO. So at this point, I felt that Rotom was probably going to be doing the least amount of work in this game, so I decided just to sack it off to the Magneton, and this will give me a free switch back into my Infernape. And much like earlier, we're in the scenario of I can U-turn, I can close combat, I can Flare Blitz, or I can also go for the Earthquake, and I'm hoping that this turn he doesn't switch out, thinking that I will try to go for the U-turn, as I am able to finally get rid of this damn Magneton that shouldn't have even been a problem to a regular team, but this team didn't have a single ground type on it, and if it just had like a Swampert or something, this thing wouldn't have done anything. But it is what it is, as in comes the Sylveon. I now have a chance to win this battle with that Magneton gone. My Scizor and my Infernape are looking like my main win conditions in this game. So I'm going to switch directly into my Starmie because I absolutely need to Rapid Spin away these Stealth Rocks. I am not in a position of where I can mess around with the Sylveon and try to go for an aggressive move right away. So I'm going to go straight for the Rapid Spin. This means that my Scizor will no longer be KO'd on the switch-in, and I will be able to save it to Bullet Punch this Weavile, as well as he does make the aggressive switch into Weavile. Looking back at it, I really wish that I had gone for the Hydro Pump here instead of going for the Rapid Spin, but again, I really felt like I wasn't in that scenario where I could risk going for Hydro Pump there. Plus, knowing my luck, I would have just missed. Like, let's be honest here. So it turns out that he Swords Dance Weavile, and this is actually terrifying because this is literally the only set of Weavile at this point in the battle that could potentially give him a chance of making a comeback and winning this game. So I'm going to go for my Z move here. Unfortunately, because it's a Gracium Z Bloom Doom and not something like Hydro Vortex, I actually have no chance of knocking out this Weavile in one hit, which is kind of absurd considering that Weavile is basically a glass cannon. It has no defenses whatsoever, and if he hadn't got that wish, obviously I would have been able to knock him out here, but he is going to go for the knockoff this next turn, clearly just obliterating my Starmie, considering that I'm a bloody Starmie. There's nothing that he can do against a +2 Weavile. And now it comes down to whether or not he gets this 50-50 roll on Ice Shard at +2. So he's gonna go for it, and Of course, it's bad luck Leo, ladies and gentlemen. There's no chance that I was gonna get that roll in my favor, and that's basically the battle. Like there's nothing at this point that I can do. He literally only had a 50% chance to knock me out with that +2 ice shard because he wasn't life formed. And at the same time though, I had a 50% chance to live. So it could have gone either way, and at this point 50-50 scenarios never go in my favor. So I didn't get my hopes up too high. Either way though, this was still a pretty good game. This was definitely a battle that I felt was a lot closer than a 3-0, just because if I had lived that ice shard on even just 1 HP, I could have definitely won the game just with my Beedrill and my Infernape and Scizor at that point. But hey, it is Pokemon. I have bad luck, and it is what it is. So either way, it was a good, fun game. If you guys would like to come out to the stream, should be streaming around when this goes up. So yeah, thank you all for watching, guys. Make sure to hammer arm that like button down below, and I'll see you all tomorrow. So later, everybody.
No matter where you're at, I'm not here to make friends, it's time to attack and deplete your HP with a final smash. Don't make me turn around and pull a 6ftHax. 6ftHax. Yeah. 6ftHax. 6ftHax. Yeah. 6ft.